afternoon, everybody. Oh, he's gonna need more energy than that. Good afternoon, everybody. I hope you enjoyed your fall break. I don't want to take up too much time, but it's great to see you all here, and we made this happen again. Troy was back with us last year, and it was just such a highlight for the students. So I want you just to enjoy and take it in, and we'll have a discussion next week in class about it, but don't worry about taking any notes, just totally be in the present, be in the moment. I think I mentioned to most classes that I was a teacher 22 years ago, left the system and became like an independent artist, and we meet some really fabulous people along the journey of people that have gone out of traditional settings and offer their talents and services to everybody, and Troy's one of them. So we met when he was 27, I think?
Yeah, 27.
Yeah, I feel like a long time ago. And I brought him into my AQ classes as a guest, and then we'd see each other at conferences and events, and we've just been kind of connected, doing our own different versions of the same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Getting people moving and excited about the arts and excited about moving and dancing and making music and noise and just inspiring people. So we're really, really lucky to have him today. He'll tell you more about his journey and how he's got to where he is now, but this is Troy Sexton. Have him enjoy.
Now here we are back in the pines, me and some crowded friends of mine, sipping on some moonshine now underneath the full moonlight. My baby just rolled up, looking fine in a pickup truck, and it's gonna be a good time on a hot summer Saturday night. Country is my life, country is the way, that's the way it's always been the way it's gonna stay. If you wanna go, climb on up in the side, we'll be rocking out. Johnny Hawkins tonight. That's country.
There we go. Make some noise! How you guys doing this morning? Are we awake? Give me a yeah! Okay, cool, sweet. We're almost awake. Nice. I'm so happy to be here to talk to you guys, hang out, do a little show today. My name is Troy Sexton. Michelle and I met years ago, like she just said. We met at a conference, I think, years ago or somewhere. And just like she said, we do similar things over the years, kind of using the arts, using music to connect with students and connect with people, and then kind of give them a lesson after that. Kind of everything I'm going to talk to you guys about what I've done with my company, what we do, where we teach, the type of kids we teach, all that sort of stuff. Most of it all comes down to just finding your authenticity when you're teaching in front of a group of students. I'll go into that a little bit harder because there's a few places in Canada that I teach that are very interesting. But I'll tell you guys a bit of my story first, just so you know who I am, what I do, why I have my basement on the stage to perform for you guys. My company is called Rhythmworks. I started it in 2010, and I started my company mainly on just a weird idea that whatever I thought would have been a really cool thing to bring into schools when I was a student, I just invented it and was like, hey, if some guys came to my school and did this, I would think it was really cool. Let's see what happens. So before I started working in schools, I'll tell you guys kind of just the quick version of my story. When we go into schools, normally we do a big show and we kind of do our talk, share our stories, and kind of teach the kids just kind of where we came from sort of stuff. So I grew up in Etobicoke, near Toronto, just kind of an hour away from here. And when I grew up, I was a dancer, drummer, figure skater. I got a single mom. I kind of come from one of those 90s families with a abusive dad and kind of bad all around energy going on. So I grew up in a really, really rough household. And when I was in about grade 9, my mom, my brother, and I decided we had to leave my dad. It was a really bad, abusive, bad situation. A lot of people grew up in situations like that, but we had to get out because it wasn't that safe. It sucked. And so we kind of decided we're gonna leave. And so for a lot of my grade 9 year, my mom, my brother, and I we were homeless. We were staying in the car, we were staying at hotels, we were staying with friends. We were kind of doing whatever we could at that point, right? So not only was I in grade 9, and also I grew up as a dancer and a figure skater. I was trying to figure out who I was, and I didn't really hit puberty until I was about like 20. So I was like 4'10", had this weird skinny haircut, and I was just kind of like, hey, what's up? And I didn't know anybody at school, and I was really nervous, right? I knew I could dance, I knew I could play music, but also I suck in school. I have learning disabilities, so I have dyslexia. I see things backwards. I'm sure you guys learn a lot about that while you're learning to be teachers, but it was trouble for me in school. I had really bad marks in school. And so a lot of stress added up for me when I was in grade 9. I had all this stuff going on at home. Also, I wanted to be cool at school. I wanted to fit in. I wanted girls to like me. I wanted to have friends. I kind of just wanted the whole experience, right? And so I kind of realized I need to use my artistic talents to fit in, make some friends, and see what happens here. So one of the days in grade 9, I saw some guys breakdancing in the hallway. I knew how to breakdance a little bit then. I just thought, what the hell, I'm gonna go up to them and say what's up. So I went up and said hi, and I was like, can you teach me some of this stuff? So I started breakdancing with these guys, and it kind of became my family for high school. It's all that I did was dance and play music. The high school I went to in Etobicoke had a really beefy, huge music program when I went there. There's probably like over 1,500 kids in music, so I was playing in all sorts of different bands when I got into grade 9, which was awesome because it kept me busy, it kept my time occupied, and also I was good in music class, so I felt confident when I was in music class. And the rest of the time I just kind of spent dancing. And I was stressed out a lot when I was a teenager, and this is kind of one of the big messages I push to teens when I work with them, is the only reason I've had a lot of success and a good career is because I was an angry teenager and I spent most of my time practicing so I could forget about the things that were pissing me off, right? So I found myself all the time in high school. I was just practicing, dancing, and took every chance I could to get on stage. And then, when I was 15, I was playing in a community band, a community concert band in Etobicoke called the Etobicoke Youth Band. It's still going on today. It's pretty awesome. I still go and do workshops with them and that sort of stuff. But it's a collective band, a bunch of kids from the community come together and it's just a concert band. When I was 15, grade 10, that whole band took a trip to New York City, which was cool. I was like, it's my first time in New York, this is so dope. And one of the nighttime activities we did was going to see the Broadway show STOMP. Have you guys heard of the show STOMP before? Nice, you guys are old enough. When I go into schools and ask that now, no kid knows what it is. There's like a couple teachers that are like, yeah! But when I saw STOMP, this is probably like 1999, I thought it was the coolest thing I'd ever saw. I was sitting there in this theater in New York. It's about as big as maybe just like one row of seats here. It's a really small theater. And I was just sitting there as the show started, and I was like hitting the guy next to me, and I was like, yo, are you watching this? Does this exist? This is a real show? Like, what the hell? What's going on here? And I left the theater that day and was just like, I'm gonna be in that show before I'm 20 years old. I don't know how I'm gonna do it right now, but I'm gonna figure it out. This is what I wanna do for my job. Like when I saw the show STOMP, I literally was like sitting there going, these guys look like me, they move like me. I felt like I'd done the show in a past life. Like I feel like it was just something that connected. And I was like, this is dope, this is what I wanna do. So I had a goal when I was 15. I kind of made it, I set it in stone. I was like, I'm gonna be in this show before I'm 20 years old. But I'm a kid from Toronto, it's a Broadway show in New York. It's like the movies, it's like a dream, but I'm like, okay, how am I gonna make this happen? So I got home, started researching STOMP all the time. Again, this is the 90s, so before social media and all that sort of stuff. And I realized really quickly, everyone in STOMP had such different backgrounds. Comedians, actors, dancers, just everyday people who showed up to the audition and they saw something in them that they liked. And so I thought, I'm gonna fit into this group. This is my tribe. I know I can do this. So I got through high school, and I was one of the last years that had grade 13. Anyone else have grade 13 in here? Yeah. So I had grade 13. So in grade 13, you're 18, you're in high school, you're super old, you kind of feel like you can do whatever you want. And I went on the STOMP website on like a Wednesday night in February, and it said there's auditions on Monday morning in New York at the same theater I saw the show when I was 15. And so I was like, I'm gonna go. So I ran upstairs to my mom and I'm like, don't freak out. I'm going to New York on Sunday. I'm auditioning for STOMP Monday morning. Are you gonna let me go? And my mom just looked at me, she's like, oh, have you looked at plane tickets or train tickets yet? And I was like, nope. And so me and my mom got online, we bought a train ticket, and I took off on that Sunday, went to New York all by myself. It was like a movie. I had a backpack full of drumsticks. I was just like going to New York, and like, I'm auditioning for a show, I'm gonna make it. And it felt really cool. I also skipped a week of school. Like, you guys seen Home Alone 2? Felt like that. Like, I just felt like I was like walking around the city like, whoa, this is dope. But I was going there to audition for the show. My first big audition, first open call in New York. I was only 18. And so I got there, 6 in the morning, lined up on the curb, met a guy next to me who's this like big dude from Boston, was like, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up, dude? This guy's name is Andy. He's still one of my best friends to this day. But we met, we started talking. The guys came out, they took down our names, said, come back at 10 a.m. You're the first round of auditions. At this point, there's like 2,000 people around the blocks ready to audition, right? So I went into this audition thinking my life was gonna be this nice romantic story of dropped out of high school, moved to New York, got in a show, and played drums with a DJ, something like that, who knows? But when I got into that audition, they get you up on stage, they teach you part of the show, stomping and clapping part, then you have to do a 4-bar solo. Have any of you guys ever had to like speak at a wedding or do like a presentation and got that nervous feeling where like your eyes go a bit blurry, then you start doing this, and then you start breathing heavy, and you start saying basically and everybody's like, okay, basically what I'm saying, okay, basically, then you look at your friend, you start to cry, and it all gets weird. Whatever that moment is, it happened to me at the audition. I went in there and I was like, ugh. I did some kind of rhythm, threw some kind of breakdance move, popped up, way out of time. It sucked. I sucked. And they cut me in the first round. They said no to me. And so I'd gone all the way to New York. Everyone in my high school knew that I had left. Everyone thought that this was the narrative that was going to happen. And they said no to me. And I left the theater that day and I was either like, okay, either this is the end of my story and I give up, screw it, whatever, I don't care about this anymore, then I get mad. Or I was just kind of like, whoa, I'm in New York by myself. I got a week off school. This is just the beginning of my story. And so I took that week in New York. I took dance classes. I saw Rent. I saw Les Mis, like my favorite shows. Just kind of went up to the box offices and were like, hey, one of your best tickets. And just like they would hook me up with like second row, like really, really awesome week. But I met that guy at the auditions. His name was Andy. Andy got in the show that first round of auditions and we kept in touch. And a year later, he called me up and he's like, there's auditions in Boston again. You should go. I've told them you're going to come. And I was like, dope, I'm going to go. So a year later, and within that year, I finished high school, which was good. I'm happy I'm a high school graduate. But and I went to Humber College for music. So I did 1 year at Humber College for music after that. And halfway through that year, I went to Boston to audition for STOMP. Same story, 2,000 people in Boston lined up to audition. And everything about me was different when I came back because they had told me no once. So my confidence was different, my swag was different, the way I walked in, the way I talked to everybody. I was more ready. I was older, I was more mature, I was ready for it. They narrowed down about like 2,000 people to 12 of us over 5 days, 5 days of callbacks. It was like a grueling like reality TV show audition, like just like pretty hardcore. And at the end, the creator of STOMP, who's a British guy, they wanted to hire me for the show, and he's like, can you work in the States? And I was like, I don't know, I'm Canadian. I don't really know how the visa stuff works. And he was like, oh, you can work in England though, right? And I was like, yeah. I didn't know if I could. I just said, yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, of course, man. Yeah, I'll come over to England. Yeah, whatever, man. So within about 3 months, they offered me the job in London. And so I had to work out a visa for London, which I did. And then I was 19 years old. I flew over and started performing with the show STOMP. What I realized very quickly when I got into the show was I was handed my dream job, but also it's the real world job. So I had to show up to rehearsals every day and try hard. I was also the youngest person they ever hired into the show. I was only 19. I was very small, young, but they saw something in me. And so I tried harder than everybody in my rehearsal group. I was there early every day, late every day, watched the show every night, immersed myself in everything that I could, and I learned the show backwards, forwards, every single part. And before I knew it, I was in the show. They sent me on tour, and I spent about 7 years touring around the world from about 19 till I was about 27. And within that time, I still didn't ever take anything for granted when I was in the show. I set more goals for myself as I got in there. So once I got into the show, I was like, okay, I'm in. Now I want to play the lead. So I started working on being the lead of the show. They offered me the lead part. I started doing that when I was 21. I was one of the youngest ever to play the lead of STOMP. And then I became rehearsal director of the company when I was 23. And I'm the youngest ever to become rehearsal director. Probably the reason I quit when I was 26 or 27, because it burned me out. It's hard to do. I learned a lot because teaching and leading artists or giving critiques to professional artists is a grueling task that is pretty thankless. And so after a few years of that, I spent a bunch of years with STOMP on the road. It's my favorite thing ever. I got to be on the posters, I got to be in the show, I got to do all the cool things I saw on TV, got to travel around the world, all sorts of cool stuff. But when I was about 26, I kind of just started to feel like I've toured for a long time. I started really young. I haven't built anything for myself. I haven't really done anything yet. And I have this weird thing in my mind where I've just never, probably a lot of us have this same thing, but I never feel like I accomplish anything, even if it's a big thing. It kind of finishes and I'm like, oh, well, what's next? I still haven't done anything. So when I got back from doing STOMP, I kind of had a rough goal in my head where I was obsessed with TED Talks back then. And I was like, I want to do a TED Talk one day. But then in my mind, I'm like, I haven't done enough to talk about. I haven't done anything to speak about yet. I've just been on the road with the show for a bunch of years, and I've got a bunch of crazy stories about being drunk and having fun. And so I just decided I'm going to build something on my own and see what happens and see what I can build. My mom's a teacher. She was a music teacher in Mississauga for 35 years. She's retired now. And I've always watched her put on shows with her students and connect with her kids in such a deep way through the arts, through music, through singing, through dancing, through drumming, through putting on shows and connecting people through that. Also in my life, connecting through those sort of things has been one of the biggest things in my life. All my best friends are people that I do performances with, people I work with, people I'm creative with, and we're all happy people because we stay creative and we keep each other creative. And so I thought, why not, like I said at the beginning, why not just bring something into schools of what I know? I love to play drums. When everyone plays drums together, it feels great. People like to watch drum shows. I've been doing that for so many years. Let's write a show, bring it into schools. So I got a friend, we wrote a show, and we thought, let's just bring it into schools, see what happens. Because my mom was a music teacher, we got booked pretty quick. She had a couple friends in different schools that were teachers, and so they just all of a sudden were like, boom, one of Karen Sexton's son from STOMP is gonna come to your school. So we started going to schools, but we didn't know what we were doing yet. We had about a 10-minute show, and we had an idea of what we wanted to do for workshops, but definitely was bare bones. So the first show we did was about 10 minutes at a school, and then I just started talking like this and kind of telling my story and talking about what I've done. And after that, I started getting booked as a speaker, and we started getting booked and booked and booked to go to schools. And so we started building and building and building our school show. Over about the first 3 or 4 years, we hit probably 200, 250 schools all over Ontario. We did a lot, which means our show grew pretty quick. We went from doing about a 10-minute show with a couple of buckets to all of a sudden we were doing a 1-hour-long kids show with kitchen sink full of water, keyboard, boom whackers, and just built into a whole new thing, but super fun. What we learned throughout all this was it's an amazing way to connect with a vast array of students. Everybody understands rhythm, everyone understands music to a certain extent, and you can bring people together, bring classrooms together using it when no one's better than anybody else. And when a classroom builds together, that's when you can sit them down afterwards and have an awesome lesson with them, right? And so what we kind of decided was like, let's just start getting into as many schools as we can, let's build this up, and let's just see where it goes. So we started going into tons of schools, building it up. We started having a version of workshops for high schools, version of workshop for elementary schools, version of workshop for corporate, just building up our repertoire of what we're gonna do, all while still doing shows and kind of just thinking, where else is this gonna take us, right? So before we knew it, we were at conferences, we were doing talks at conferences, talking about how we connect with kids through music. We were doing tons of workshops for teachers on PA days, PD days, going to schools, doing workshops for students. And we found we had an awesome effect connecting with the kids. And over the time when we thought about it, it's just like exactly what I just said. When you build something together as a group, things are so much easier to kind of have a lesson at the end, sit down at the end and kind of be like, hey, what did we learn from this? As opposed to just saying, here's an idea, learn from it, right? So we started just entering as many places as we could go. And what happens when you do that is you just start getting seen all the time. And so we made sure every time we did something that we did it well. It's like advertising every single time we were out there. Every school led to another school or a conference. Every conference led to another conference or something like that. And then some cool opportunities just kind of got thrown our way because we've been doing this for so long. We got good at the bucket drumming, drum show stuff. And so in 2016, I was in Beijing for 10 weeks performing with STOMP. And when I was there, I woke up one day to an email from the Toronto Raptors that were like, hey, can you put together a drumming team for the Toronto Raptors? And I was like, yeah, of course. Like, when do you want it? And one of my friends runs a drumming group for the Cavaliers, Cleveland Cavaliers. And they were like, well, we want to do something like what the Cleveland Cavaliers have. And I was like, dope, I know that guy, we'll make it way better, we'll make it way Toronto, let's do it. So all of a sudden right there, a new opportunity came and my life changed again. It was like, boom. All of a sudden we worked for the Raptors. I hired 7 of my friends, which are like the best drummers in Toronto. We started writing drumming pieces, performing at all the games, and it opened up our world to a whole bunch of different performances, different places. We were seen all over the place. We were at every single NBA Finals game in 2019. We got to be in the parade, and all while me and my group, who are just all my friends, we'd like run out onto the court with these buckets and sit there to play and kind of look at each other and be like, we're getting away with this, dude. Look up, this is crazy. But all super fun stuff. Now, that's mostly the performance side sort of stuff of what I do. As the years went on, I found a passion for teaching, for connecting with young kids, especially teenagers. And one of the places that I found I was focusing on, and I found that were always coming to ask me questions afterwards, was kind of men and boys' mental health. It's a kind of place where it's been ignored for a lot of time. Boys don't really know how to deal with it. And so I kind of focused a lot of my energy on working with boys across our country, just to kind of see if we could affect a generation of boys. What happened was we started going into a bunch of schools. We were working with a bunch of kids, which was awesome. And then we saw an opportunity. Oh, hello? Hello? Oh, there we're working. Then we saw an opportunity where we thought, what if we go to remote places in Canada and into prisons in Canada and try to affect a generation of the worst boys in our country. So we wrote to the government to get a grant. We started getting huge government grants. We started going into Arctic reserves, native reserves, and 6 different youth prisons across Canada. So when we go into jail, we go in there. So I'm actually going to the Winnipeg jail next year to do our first project next week I'm going there, do our first project since 4 years ago, since 2019. But when we go into prison, what we do is take all the kids, about 30, 40 kids that are in jail, and we work with them from 9 to 5 every day, teach them drumming, dancing, beatboxing, DJing, spoken word poetry, rap, and then we put on a show with them at the end of the week. So their probation officers can come, their parents can come, sometimes their kids, like whatever. If they're all approved, they can come watch. So it's like a movie every single week. And what we found, especially, like I was saying at the beginning, when we work with students in jail, it's 100% authenticity. That's all that they look out for. If you go in there and fake it to those kids, they smell it on you and they'll just eat you alive. But if you're just yourself, then they listen. And what we found over the years was we have quite an effect with all the kids in prison if you're just raw, real, easy with them, listen, don't judge, and then all of a sudden within about a day they just become normal teenagers. They're not thugs, they're not criminals anymore. The funny part is we eat lunch with them in their units and stuff to, bond with them and hang out. And so when you get in like personal conversation with some of these kids, like there might be like a fun kid I'm drumming with and having a good time and laughing and talking about family and stuff, and then you eat and just organically it's like, what'd you do? And then they tell you and you're like, what? Like, how did that happen? But it opens your eyes to a lot of things that go on around our country, right? The things that are true across the board is kids love to have fun and kids will listen if you present something in a fun way, right? As a teacher, that's kind of our biggest thing to do. So I always think of it conversationally. If I can't connect with a group of kids, it's probably because I'm doing something wrong. I want to do something different that can create an atmosphere where they're ready to listen. Does that make sense to you guys? When we started doing the jail work, it was interesting because we had not done a lot of that work before. And so we had to learn to be teachers in a completely different way. So we were going to a team of about 5 or 6 people, dancers, drummers, all sorts of stuff. And we had to kind of learn to be completely different. These kids walk in, we're in the gym in the morning, playing some music, getting ready to dance. These kids walk in there and they're They wear like a tracksuit in jail, so it's like blue or gray tracksuit, and they look mean. They're used to being criminals on the street, so they come in like slow, looking you up and down. What's up? What's up? What's up? Some of them don't want to listen and stuff. But again, what we did is just nuance the first couple days, where it was like, let's just trial and error this. We get to do it all the time. Figure out the right ways of how we connect with the kids, and then kind of make it work. One of the ways that we usually break the ice is one of the things that I do. And so I teach a lot of workshops. Usually how I start my workshops is by teaching a stomping and clapping routine, which is kind of like an easy 4-bar, just stomp using hands and feet. I kind of want to just show you guys what I would do for the first 4 bars of this workshop, but I need like 3 or 4 volunteers to come up on stage. Who wants to come up today? Yes, we got 1. Get up here. 2, 3, perfect. Make some noise, make some noise. All right, you guys ready to dance?
Control, I've been the leader. I can't music. Say she said I don't believe it. Control, I've been the leader.
All right, come around here. So, now, me and my best friend Alonzo, we perform together, and we have a street show. So when we go into school, it's a 2-man show that we do kind of on all this stuff. But we do a lot of street performing in the summertime, so we travel across the country, do busker festivals. And so whenever I'm in front of an audience, I like just doing stuff like that just to see what happens. Because sometimes you just put people in front, and you're like, do it! And then people are like, I'm doing it. You guys can all follow along too. I'll show you guys what we would do. So pretty much what I normally do with any class, I usually work with grade 3 and up. First things I always do is get everyone to shake their arms, shake your hands, shake your hands. After count of 4, just clap once all together. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice, one more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 claps, pop, pop. 1, 2, 3, 4. And 3 claps, da, da, da. 1, 2, 3, 4. Nice. You guys are listening very well. It's not like a class of grade 4s. In jail, just getting 1 clap together takes like 45 minutes. So this is nice. Right foot on the 1. 1, 2, 3, 4. With the Barbie shoes too. Okay. Left foot. 1, 2, 3, 4. Try clap, foot. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time. 1, 2, 3, go. Nice. Switch that. 1, 2, 3, go. Do that 2 times in a row. 1, 2, 3, and. And what song is that? Nice. Try this out. We're gonna go foot, clap, clap, foot, clap. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice. You just did it backwards, but you still did it. All the notes were there. It's like you got the whole shopping list, just in the wrong order. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice, cool. 1 clap all together. 1, 2, 3, and. Sweet. Okay, I'm gonna teach the 4-bar sequence. Let's see how fast these 3 can get it. You guys try it sitting down. Let's see what happens. So the first, first part, I call it the funky beat. Can you guys say that? You gotta yell it. The funky beat. Nice. It sounds like this. So the first part of that is foot, pat. Just try that. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice, good job. 1 more time. Hit it. Second part, super easy. Foot clap, just try that. 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, again. 2, 3, again. Clap. Put it together, it's like this. 1, 2, 3, and. Perfect, you just did the foot with the hand again. I like the way your brain works. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice, you did it. It's all good, don't worry. No one noticed your mistake. 1, 2, 3, and. Yeah, you did it, you're good. She was looking at me for approval. Did I? We're gonna do the funky beat 2 times in a row. Dum dum gat, dum gat, dum gat, dum gat. 1, 2, 3, and. Yeah. Okay, nice, cool. You guys all got it out there? Who's got it? Stand up and do it alone. No, I'm just kidding. I just want to see what your face would do. Yeah, I got it. No. Try it again. 2 times on the funky beat, then freeze. 1, 2, 3. Hit it. Nice. Next part I call it the waltz beat. You guys know what a waltz is? Waltz in 3. Boom, bop, bop, boom, bop, bop. It's not going to go in 3, but it'll just sound like it. So the first part, 3 steps with our feet. Right, left, right. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, and... Awesome. One more time. Boom, boom, boom. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 claps in between each foot. So it'll sound like this. Foot, clap, clap, foot, clap, clap, foot. 1, 2, 3, go. Nice. One more time, go. Nice. Just have your feet apart a little bit at the end of this one. 1, 2, 3, go. One more time, really slow. Boom, gat, gat, boom, gat, gat, boom. 1, 2, 3, and. Nice. One more time, a little faster. Boom, dat, dat, boom, dat, dat, boom. 1, 2, 3, hey. Cool. Put these 2 things together. It's like this. 2 times, then once. Think we can do it? You think we can do it? Just smile and say yes. There we go. Let's try it out. 1, 2, 3 on the funky beat. Keep going. Freeze. Last part, super easy. 4 claps. On stage, we're just going to put them in different spots so it looks a bit cooler. So first clap, opposite side. 1. Second clap between your legs. 3rd behind your back. 4th in front. Arms come up. Last part, we go. Out, under, back, front, yeah. Your yeah was good, just early, it's fine. Out, under, back, front, yeah. 2, 3, go. Out, under, back, front, yeah. Should we hit a pose? Out, under, back, front, hey. 1, 2, 3, go. Out, under, back, front. Slay, girl. Here we go. Put it all together. 2 times on the funky beat, once on the waltz beat. Out, under, back, front, slay, girl. Here we go. Doom, doom, gat, gat, doom, gat. To 1, 2, 3, hey. Keep going. Hey. Yeah. Make some noise, make some noise. Okay, that was our dress rehearsal. Here's our performance. Ladies and gentlemen. What college are you guys at? Durham? Is this Durham College? Terra Tech? Ladies and gentlemen of Ontario Tech, are you ready for 3 classmates to rock the stage? All right, everybody start here. We do a big crescendo and then we'll go in like this. Everybody. Louder. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, hey. Keep going. Hey. Yeah. Make some noise. Take a bow, take a bow, take a bow, take a bow. Round of applause for our volunteers, ladies and gentlemen. Now, so you guys are awesome. Thank you so much for coming up. Thank you guys for doing, kind of just clapping along in your chairs. So when we do that in schools, I like using something like that, and I'll tell you the lesson that I spin that into now. So what I do when we do that with a bigger class, let's say we got like 30 kids or something, we teach them that same 4-bar sequence. Now, if you do something, a version of this, if you're teaching, if you want to take this idea and use it, the linchpins of it is having something in the beginning they can all do together, funky beat. The middle, you do whatever you want. The ending is another place where it just needs to be simple, where things can come together. That's why it's always fun to kind of just have this, and a big yell. So what I do with classes, teach them that same 4 bars in a circle, and then we turn it into a game. I'll get on this drum like this, and I play. They all move around the room, find themselves kind of facing a partner or a group of 3, and then I count it in, 2, 3, 4. And then they try to make eye contact with their partner the whole time. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, switch! Play a drum, they all switch, becomes a little bit chaotic around the room. But what it does is takes everyone out of their head. And all of a sudden, everyone's just running around the room laughing at each other and going like, what's happening, what's happening? And they're finding partners. And I challenge the groups all the time at the beginning of this, when you find your partner, to try stare in their eyes the whole time that you're doing it, even if it feels weird, just to see how that feels. And what happens if you stare someone in the eyes for too long? You go for about 2 seconds and you start to laugh, or you start feeling weird, or something like that. But there's 2 lessons I teach the kids out of this. One, the first one, they run around the room, play the pattern, yell, switch. After maybe 8 times, 9 times, maybe I slowed the tempo down up, maybe I sped the tempo up a little bit. And the last one I yell, everyone face me, face me, face me. Go right into it. And when they hit that last one, just because it's become fun and it's a game, they turn to me and everyone does it perfectly. Like a robot. And so what I always tell the kids is remind them that if they're in exam time, or they're in test time, or they're doing a project, or there's something that's just filling your head with info that you're too much going on in there, take a break. Do something that gives your brain a little break and laugh and breathe, then come back to it, and it's so much easier. I've learned this myself. It sounds like a simple lesson, but as a creative person who writes shows, I have to do a whole bunch of things where I come up with a bunch of ideas. I need to do this to actually come up with ideas. Me and one of my best friends, he's a filmmaker, he takes on a lot of big projects. When both him and I have a lot of things that we need to be creative about, we seriously drive to Gatineau, to Ottawa, go to the spa for the day, and sit in a hot tub and just talk through our ideas for the whole day, and just let the world stop. And then we both leave going okay, we figured something out today. But that's how we've learned to do it, right? When we do it with students, it's just about telling them, take a break, take a breather, get out there and do something different, come back to it, makes it a whole lot easier. The other lesson that I use in this thing is a presentation skills lesson, which is also something for teachers that is a never-ending thing that all teachers should be studying, looking at, working on. As a presenter, as a speaker, as a performer, I'm constantly working on stage presence things. I watch psychology stuff, I watch magicians, I try to watch everything to be inspired and find different ways to be on stage. But there always starts with engaging a group is getting comfortable using eye contact, which is the second part of the lesson that I teach with you teaching that 4-bar pattern. When it's uncomfortable to look people in the eyes. And if you're presenting in front of a group, like I was talking about before, that moment when you get nervous, the basically moment where you're freaking out, pretty much all you need to do to not have that is get comfortable going in front of a group of people and just looking at them like, hey, make eye contact with a few people, what's up, boom. Just by doing that, all of a sudden it flips the script of being nervous, where all of a sudden, instead of me being nervous that you guys are all watching me, just because I took that second to breathe and look around the room, all of a sudden everyone in the audience is a little nervous that I'm going to catch you not listening, or on your phone, or not paying attention, or something like that, right? And it comes from just little subtle control when you're in front of an audience. So when I did STOMP, has anyone ever seen STOMP in here before? 1, 2, a couple people. STOMP starts 8 people in the show. It starts off with one guy pushes out a broom on stage. There's no talking in STOMP. It's a communication only through body language, rhythm, like we were doing at the beginning, clapping back and forth. So I would come out with a broom on a stage like this, theater full of people, a couple thousand people, whatever, and I'd just push a broom on stage, and I'd have to engage everybody and make the whole theater want to watch me for the next 2 hours, right? So pretty much my plan, always in my mind, I'd kind of come out, maybe make a noise, something, make people giggle, and then I get up to the front of the stage and just take a second. I'd look at the exit signs, look up in the balcony, look over here, see someone on a date over here, say what's up. The guy would hate me, the girl would feel weird. But in that moment, you just take 2 seconds and you kind of go, cool. Eye contact around the room. Then all of a sudden, the whole room is just watching, and it's kind of like, whoa, that worked. And over the years as a teacher, what we kind of pride ourselves on with Rhythm Works, we always say we can get the same result out of every class. We can get the same result out of an audience, same result out of any class, because we have different ways to adjust to get to the same lesson, which is the coolest way as a teacher, because you come across so many different types of students that learn in so many different types of ways. And when you get to kind of unlock a new way or figure out a new way of teaching or unlock a new way of a student to learn, it feels amazing. It's arguably why we all want to be teachers. The connection with the kids when you feel like you've made a difference for some students is like nothing else. I know for me, like I was saying before, my goal was to inspire young people. I wanted to go into high schools and speak and tell my story like I've told to you guys, to kind of talk to the teenagers that might be going through something similar to what I was going through when I was a teenager. Someone has some problems at home, if they're a creative person, stress going on, how you can parlay that into a career and make it into something, right? The other side of what we do when we teach is the kind of mental health side of things, which is I like to teach presentation skills, I like to teach drumming skills, music skills, which all develop confidence. But also the mental health side of things, when we talk about that with teenagers, especially the kids in jail, it's a lot like kind of what I mentioned earlier, where we teach them to discover within themselves how they find what we call, in the jails, we call it a one mic. There's a song by Nas from the 90s called All I Need, it's called One Mic. He talks about how he just needs one mic to save the world. He talks about how rapping is his favorite thing to do, and if he had one mic, that's all he needs, he's a happy guy, save the world. It's a bad summary of the whole song, but that's just the bubblegum version. But we call it that in jail. We call it finding your one mic. And so we teach the kids to start discovering within them, what is their thing? What is their thing that can actually make them into a better person? What I find with a lot of the young men that we work with is they're just lacking a direction. They don't have a purpose. They don't know what their skills are. They don't know where to put their energy. Some kids put it into the gym, some kids put it into work, some kids put it into school. A lot of the kids in jail have been misled so hard because they've been in gangs, they have fetal alcohol syndrome, some of them are slower and kind of got picked up by, like they're slower mentally, intellectually, so they get picked up by gang members that can make them into a runner, and then they can just get arrested, whatever, right? Tons and tons of different stories. But a lot of the kids are just lost. And what we try to do is teach them a lot of these things from artists like us, like me, where something like this has just changed my life. I have a son, I have a 3-year-old son, and I'm teaching him how to play drums just because I learned how to play drums when I was young, and a lot of awesome opportunities came to me because I'm good at drums. So I wanted my son to have that too. And when we go into schools, I say the same things to the kids. If you focus on one thing, you focus on the thing you're best at, the thing that makes you the happiest, a couple things will happen. You'll be a happier person, you'll get really good at something, which is an awesome, then you'll have a skill, and you can make that into a career. I've never wanted to have a real job. Like when I was in high school, I just never really I was like, I don't want to work in an office, I don't even know how people do that or what they do all day. All I knew is I wanted to be on stage, I wanted to do something artistic and something creative. And so as a person now in my 40s, I'm thinking, I had 20 years of a career that built into me being kind of allowed to share what I do, right? But it's also just a way of connecting. My biggest thing as a teacher is when we get into a class, I never judge any class, anywhere we are across Canada, wherever we are, it's just boom, we're gonna have a good time, we're gonna get to know you guys, let's see what happens. And that energy, that attitude, they pick up on it. And we end up with kids opening up a lot, especially when we do our week-long projects in the Arctic and native reserves or in prisons. By like day 3 or day 4, we're having some kids come in and show us some amazing stuff. So even one of the exercises we do in jail, a lot of the kids have never written anything before. They've never written down anything, right? And so one of the things we do is we bring in dollar store journals for them at the beginning of the week. We just get like a little dollar store pad of paper sort of thing. And on Monday, we give them the pad and we say, when you get back to your cell tonight, your homework is to write down like 3 things you're grateful for. Just start off with something easy, right? So maybe they come back on Tuesday and they've written down, I'm grateful for my family, my dog, and that I ate today. Whatever, right? Something easy. Then the next day is like, okay, write a paragraph about the reserve you come from or the city you come from. There's something like that, right? Or something you like to do. So sometimes the kids come back with stories about hunting with their grandparents or being at home and cooking, something nice, right? Then by day 3, because we've been encouraging them just to think and write, some of these kids come in with like 5-page bars, like raps, that are really, really good. We have to screen them before they perform them because we got to make sure there's no gang-related stuff or swear words, or we challenge them not to swear. We say, like, try to rap as if your grandma was listening. But a lot of times these kids will end up performing after just 4 days, 5 days of learning this stuff, and at the show, they're there with a mic, and they're rapping it, performing it, looking confident, and feeling empowered. And I feel what we do, that's the biggest thing, is giving the empowerment to a lot of young people, because a lot of times when you're a teenager, you never feel that. And as teachers, we create moments where we can empower students. There's always moments you can bring students in to empower them. So a little thing that I do that I call making it into a moment is a lot of the times, like when we had our 3 volunteers come up on stage, I do the same thing to classes. I'll just like kind of get them, I'll have them doing something, and then I'll just go, everybody dance, here we go! And just kind of see what happens when you say everybody dance. And you'll see some kids will dance, some kids won't, some kids are just like, ooh, ooh. But then you sometimes see like just one kid who's kind of just doing like his favorite dance move, whatever it might be, you know what I mean? And so what we always do is if we notice that, we'd be like, what's your name? They'd be like, Dave. Like, do the Dave, everyone do the Dave. And then all of a sudden the whole class will do the dance move. And it was like 2 seconds, created a moment, brought everyone together, made Dave feel amazing. Everyone felt comfortable moving because there was an instruction. The next part of the workshop becomes even easier because all of a sudden you've just created a moment. When we teach workshops, it's almost the same for me as street performing. While street performing, you have to be aware of your audience the whole time. If your show sucks, they're going to walk away. So I'm always aware of what's going on, where I need to make a joke, when I need to suck people back in, when I need to talk a little bit quieter so people listen, when I need to talk louder so they're going to listen even more. But all the little nuances of that just come from practicing and doing it all the time. With students, it's about being aware to create those moments. When you find a time when you can empower the right student in your classroom, that student will feel amazing and they won't forget it. It's the sort of thing where, as a teacher, you can have these awesome moments where someone in 10 years will come up to you and be like, hey, remember you did this thing when I was in grade 4 and blah, blah, blah. And you'll be like, yeah, I remember, even if you don't. And students remember that stuff. I get emails every so often, once a month or so, Facebook Messenger and email from some kid in jail that I met over the years, and sometimes it's the nicest message ever. It's just something like, what's up, dude? This is blah, blah, blah from the Edmonton jail. I really liked when you guys were there. I listened to your words. I got out. I have a girlfriend. I'm working on the oil fields. Just got a dog. Not going back to jail. And for me, I just wake up, I'm like, yes, dope. Good for that kid. I don't think I did much for that decision other than maybe was there in a time where he needed to listen to something or have a good time. But I love hearing that. And as teachers, we get those moments. If you take the time to give those moments to students in time, you get them back. Nothing feels better than receiving those messages as an educator, as a teacher. Because yeah, we can teach things. You can teach stuff to anyone. You can teach all the things you need, all the curriculum, all that stuff you can teach to students. But when you can have the time to connect, and to really make a difference where they're like, whoa, I really listened to you. I took that one thing you said and now I'm on a different path. Nothing's better than receiving those messages back. I look at the prison work that we do as it's a teaching exercise that I get to learn a lot from. I also love weird people and weirdos that have experienced life in a crazy way. So I love sitting down with these students and talking to them and asking them a million questions. It's like watching true crime YouTube, but in real life. But it's also great for these kids. My philosophy, my thought, my whatever hypothesis of kind of starting the work that I was doing, like I said at the beginning, was if I can affect a generation of our country's worst boys that are in jail, that have gone on a different path, and even if 5 of them get out and end up having a better life and not causing trouble for other people and being in healthy relationships and having a healthy life, then that makes me happy. That's all I really wanted to do. What comes with that is being in a bunch of different schools and working with a bunch of different types of kids as well. One other thing that we do is work a whole lot with the special needs classes of the schools. And what we find is, over the years, a lot of schools would be like, oh, could you maybe do 10 minutes with the students with autism or with the special needs class? And so what we'd end up saying is like, we just bring them into the class, we'll be fine. Even like behavior kids like, oh, we're gonna bring our behavioral kids in to maybe just watch. And we'll be like, no, just bring them in. They won't be bad for us. It'll be fine. And what we find is when you create the atmosphere in a classroom where everybody learns at the same time and it's something fun, it's something that works, we don't really experience any behavioral problems. Even with kids in jail, the odd time there'll be like a kid lashing out or something like that, but most of the time they just respect it. And when we go in as teachers prepared, ready, they listen and it works. It works really, really well. How many of you guys are wanting to teach elementary school? Oh, nice. How many of you guys want to teach high school? Anybody? 1, 2, cool. How many of you guys want to teach in jail? Yeah, maybe. It's a cool experience. One of the funnest things that I've had in my career is that I get to do a bunch of different stuff all the time. I could be in, like, even 1 week, years ago, I was in, around this time of the year, I was in the Winnipeg jail, which I'm going to next week, which is like the worst youth prison in Canada. It's most kids. They're pretty bad out there, but it's super fun. And then I got back and then did like 3 days at Branksome Hall, downtown Toronto, like the richest all-girls private school in Toronto. So I just went from like night and day. But the coolest thing is, students are always the same across the board, no matter what. They just come from different spots, and if you connect with them in the right way, every kid is exactly the same. One of the things that we built up in our show, when I first started the show, it was a lot like STOMP, like the show that I was in. We did a lot of stomping, clapping, playing drums on garbage cans, a lot of high energy sort of dancing and drumming stuff. What I've done over the years is kind of change my skill set. We wrote a different show where we do we use our snare drum like this and do drumming. Drumming with stick tricks, kind of throwing sticks and everything. So I'm going to do a little piece for you guys, but I need your help because I've got like spotlights on me right here, so I might lose the stick when I throw it in the air. So if, in this next song, when I'm going to do some drums, if you see a drumstick go in the air and I miss it, get that out of your system. If I miss it, make some noise! If everything goes to plan, drumstick goes in the air and I catch it, make some noise! Pretty much, if you see a drumstick go in the air, just make some noise so I can fall asleep with a smile on my face tonight. Can you do that for me? Woo, woo! I like it. All right, let's see what happens. Thank you. Oh. You guys have a good time? Thank you for listening to me, watching me play for the last hour. You guys feel good? Was that a fun class? Okay, good. Now we got like 5 minutes. Is there any questions about life? I'm in guru mode. Take my hair out. But for real, is there any questions?
Troy, how do you get out of your head and into your body during performances? When I watch this, we're so stiff and rigid, and we can't get past our conscious experience.
I think, okay, so for me, that's a really good question. For me, it works differently. I'll say how I explain it, and I'll say what it works like for me. So, for me, when I get on stage, ever since I was a kid, I'm more comfortable here than I am anywhere else. So, when I get in front of a group of people on stage, I'm an introvert off stage. I don't go out much. I spend a lot of time alone. I hang with my dog a lot. But when I get in front of audiences, I'm most myself. So for me, it's almost like a therapy of wow, I'm back being just myself every time. If you're not wired like that, the world tells you to be nervous, to be stiff, to worry about every single thing that's going to happen. And that's why when people get on stage, you end up acting like a very bizarre version of yourself. A lot of times when people go on TV or get pulled up as a volunteer for something and they're not used to being on stage, you watch a tape back and you're like, I've never said that word, that phrase, I've never stood like that, I've never waved like that. I bet people on Wheel of Fortune will watch themselves back and be like, who is that person, What I find is, connect with whatever group you're in front of before you start what you're gonna do. What they say in public speaking, basic courses, is start with a joke. I don't mean that. I mean, if you're a teacher, if you're gonna perform, you're gonna speak in front of a group of students, you're speaking in front of a group of peers, bring the group together with you off the top. Something that makes you comfortable. For me, like we did today, all of a sudden, didn't even say anything, we're clapping back and forth. It makes me comfortable as a performer. I go, okay, cool. Everyone's with me now. Now we can go into it. So find out whatever works best for you. Whether it's a call and response, everyone give me a yeah. A song, la da da da. They repeat it back. Something that brings the room together first. No matter what, that'll give you a boost off of getting out of your head. Because when you're in your head, all of that happens is you go, okay, you start thinking everything I do isn't good enough to be in front of a group of people, so I'm going to start acting like I think what everybody wants to see. Never turns out like that. Authenticity, getting comfortable being yourself is the biggest thing. That first impression, I find, is the biggest way to do that. When we when we street perform, how I gain rapport with an audience and build our audience is we play some music, we set up our drums, a few people start to sit down, and I seriously just walk around the people sitting down and compliment them, make inside jokes happen, make people stand up, do a funny dance move with me, set up some inside jokes with an audience, with your class, that only exists within that room. Everyone feels special, they feel like they're with you. Those are a couple things. That make sense? Sweet. Any other questions about life? Last chance. Sweet. Well, thank you guys so much. Have an awesome day. I'll be hanging out up here anyway if you want to come up and chat.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thanks everybody. I always forget how much teaching wisdom Troy has. I feel like every BEd student needs to be in this audience next year. I learned things, his experiences, and just his outlook on how he approaches students and audiences are so transferable for you as teachers, and not just when you're doing the arts. I think if you heard what I heard, lots of nuggets that are for teaching any subject at all, and just teaching in general. So you bring so much. Thank you so much. I love it. Yay. So we're wrapped up. It's 1:00.